I'm going to talk to you about history, but it's really important to take in these moments and the people that you're hearing from, because we've come such a long way in our community. And so what I'm going to talk to you about is a little bit of what you saw on Saturday, some of you saw on Saturday. And I call this orgullo y coraje, because while we're very proud of our community, of ourselves and what we've accomplished, we also have to have the courage, el coraje, to do what we need to do for our communities, for ourselves. I learned this a few years ago that, a lot of us think about, oh, it all started at Stonewall. No. There were Latinos in the 1950s. The Mattachine Society and the Daughters of Bilitis, where Mattachine was gay men, Daughters of Bilitis were lesbians. There were lesbian Latinas and gay men in the Mattachine and Daughters of Bilitis. So they were already involved in some way. And then in 1961, Jose Sarria, openly homosexual, in 1961, he ran for Board of Supervisors in San Francisco. He lost, but what's important is he was the first openly gay, openly homosexual person to run for office in the United States. And then, of course, he went on to found the Imperial Court System, which to this day still fundraises for our many good causes. And of course, in 1969, Sylvia Rivera, transsexual trans activist, was credited with inciting the riot at Stonewall. And then she and Marsha P. Johnson, of course, created STAR to help young gay youth and young drag performers and trans women in New York. And this is in 1969, 1970. And then, of course, during the following years, there were many organizations. I'm from San Antonio, Texas, oh, there's some Texas Tejanos here. And so in the 1970s, even before I got involved in organizing, there was already a group in Houston called the Gay Chicano Caucus. And one of the reasons they formed is because at the time, Houston was predominantly dominated, the movement, the community was white and gay. And Houston, you could go to one of the famous gay bars there, and if you were Chicano or Mexican, you'd be asked for 2 forms of ID to get in. And that was very common. Happened to me in Atlanta, Georgia as well. And the other thing was that, as probably all of you have experienced, we want to take pride in our culture. We don't want a white gay man telling me to check my color at the door when I walk into a room. So anyway, so in the 80s, in Texas, and you're going to hear a lot about Texas, California, but we had, lesbian Latina retreats. We had several of them. The Gay and Lesbian Tejano conferences. And then, of course, in 1987, we had the National March on Washington for Lesbian Gay Rights here. And we organized a contingent of Latinos to come march, because it was important to us to be visible at that march. Of course, that was also the beginning of the AIDS crisis. And many of you are probably too young to remember this, but that was a terrible, devastating time in our community, in many communities, but particularly the Black and brown communities suffered a lot, and we lost many good friends and people. Joe Perez, there in the middle, activist from South Texas, died of AIDS in 1991. He was outspoken and no holds barred in his telling of his own story and the importance of, here at Washington, talking to lawmakers and talking to people in the administration about the importance of making AIDS treatment protocols and participation available to Latinos. As a result of that March on Washington, we formed this national organization called LLEGÓ, the National Latino Lesbian and Gay Organization, and that was the name from 1988 to 1995. And I'm a Chicana. I came to Washington and I started meeting Latinos from all over. So LLEGÓ had Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Panameñas, Mexicans. So I learned that this community is very diverse in and of itself, very broad. And we come from all sectors of life, different socioeconomic classes. And so the work of LLEGÓ was really to, to kind of, on a national level, bring people together. Have I already run out of time? I have? Okay, I'm going to go through it real quickly. All right, so in 1996, they changed the name of the organization to the National Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender Organization. There were 10 encuentros nacionales, and there were 3 or 4 international conferencias with activistas de otras partes de Sudamérica, México, Centroamérica. This just tells you that there was a growing network of organizations, which I believe if we took a look today, it's probably a lot bigger than that. And then, of course, here in DC, we had several organizations preceding LHP. We had Enlace, we had HELAM, Arcoiris, and I'll just flip through these really quickly because these are all historical. We had a Latina lesbian conference in Tucson. It was really hot, but it was a lot of fun. And then, of course, New York. And my point of all these next slides is, after LLEGÓ closed, there were other attempts to form nationally. LULAC started allowing rainbow councils, which still exists. We have one here in DC. And I was a co-editor of the book Queer Brown Voices in 2015. This was really the voices of the activists of the 80s and 90s. Today, we still have Unión Equals Fuerza, which is the annual conference at National Gay and Lesbian Task Force. It'll be meeting here in Washington in January, so if you're in town, please come. Someone cited some most recent statistics, but we have to remember that we're, someone said 22%, we're a significant, our community is a significant part of the Latino community. And we also have many households where we're raising children. And one of the last slides I'll show is 2 years ago at the White House, I had it was a privilege, it was an honor, and it was awesome to be briefed by LGBTQ Latinos in a room of LGBT Latino activists. And so I say what's next because, yeah, what is next? We're all members of different communities, different organizations, and my hope is that with all the energy that we have right now, that we'll be able to continue this conversation of how do we organize nationally, because our communities need us right now, our people need us, and we need it right now. Thank you.